Welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to start on project number 7, the Vintage Cars JavaScript site. And JavaScript is really a lot easier than you think, especially since Dreamweaver has it all built in for you and you don't actually have to do any JavaScript coding. So you can review on page 297 all of the benefits of using it. So first thing we're going to do is actually on page 298. And we're going to open up the index file. And we're going to go into live mode. And you can see it looks kind of plain. It's got a picture. It's got a body background. It's got some formatting. And it's got some links up there that you can use. And we're going to format them later. And if you take a look on number 6 on page 298, it wants you to review the header, the nav, the main content, and the sidebar. Of course, they're all over here. And you can see that. So that was an easy page for me right now. And we're going to go to 299. We're actually going to start doing things. Sometimes they do in the book of things backwards. However, it's good that you understand that you can do things backwards to save yourself typing in the first part. So it really doesn't matter which way you do it. You can create an ID tag and then apply the ID, or you can create the ID in the actual live view, which will create the CSS. So let's go on page 299 over here, and I have the index file open up. Again, whatever way you choose to do it is irrelevant because you're going to basically get the same exact results. I choose my things by the way I feel at the time, or what I'm in live mode, or I'm in code mode. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to do it however I feel like doing it because it's basically exactly the same. So I have the index file open. I'm going to click on the home link. We're in live view, so we get the little plus sign. And what I'm going to do is click here, and we're going to add the home link. Now remember, if you're going to add an ID, you have to put the number sign. So we're going to click on home link. I'm going to hit the enter key. And because Dreamweaver does not recognize as anything, it assumes that you want to make a style out of it. So it's going to ask you to select a source. Once you click on the enter key, you can see that it actually, I'm pointing over here, it actually creates the home link class right inside of it. I shouldn't say class, it's actually an ID selector. So we're going to go number 4 on the next page, and I'm going to read some of the things that they have over here, and it emphasizes that because Dreamweaver does not recognize it as a selector, it's going to add it for you automatically. And that's what I'm talking about. There are advantages of doing things backwards because it did add the selector for you. So I'm going to go to number 5, and I'm going to do the same thing in the restoration services. Now, normally we would put the ID here, but if you put the ID here, it does not add it in CSS. So I'll click the plus sign over here, and I'm going to put in number sign, restoration services. And actually restoration link. Hit the enter key, go through the same thing, and notice that it gets added. We're going to do swap meets and charity cruises. So I'm going to put in swap meets link. Again, we have the same thing. Make sure you're hitting the enter key, and that will eventually get you to the next link. And we want to do charity link. And we're good. So we'll click somewhere outside of there. So you see we have, of course, if I would have spelled this right, that would have made a big thing. So we're going to change it here. Spelling does make a big difference. And once I change it here, I have to change it in the ID. Okay, so now we have that done there. We're going to go to the main div and we're going to click on the H1 tag over here. Now, I would not do it this way. After I get done doing this, I will tell you what I would have done. We're going to create an ID of H1, which is perfectly acceptable because an ID of H1 is totally different than the actual H1. So basically, we're doing the same thing. And then down over here, we're going to do description. Okay, that takes care of that. Notice that we have an H1 in description. What I would have done for the H1 tag, I would have created a selector that would have, notice this is main content. So let's go into code view. And you can see we have main content. I would have made it a selector called main content H1. So that would mean only affect an H1 tag that's within that's within main content. All right, so we have that over there. We've taken care of that. We're going to move on. And we're going to talk about JavaScript and preloading images. What preloading images is going to do for you is when a page loads, it's going to start loading the images right away so that when you want to use them, they're already loaded. And you can read about that on the top of page 301. So what we need to do is turn off live view. And here's why. If we go into window, you'll see that behaviors is grayed out. You're not going to be able to access it in live view. So what you're going to do is go into design view, and I already have it open, which is here. So let's go back into live view and notice that it's now grayed out. You cannot use it. So there is, again, a learning experience. If something's grayed out, change views. If you're in design, go to live. If you're in live, go to design. Okay, we're going to click on the body tag. The easiest way to do that is just click down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a behavior. And the easiest way to add a behavior is go to the behaviors panel and click on add. And what it wants us to do is add the preload images, which is right here. So we have the preload images and we want to browse. The problem with this, it allows you to select only one image at a time. Show you what I'm talking about. So it wants us to do car 1. Now you would think you can control click car 2, car 3, and car 4 and do them all at one time. Unfortunately, you cannot. So you have to do them each one at a time. So we're going to do car 1 and click on the plus sign. If you click on OK, this is what's going to happen. It's going to end it right over here. You can get back into it just by double-clicking the preload images. So now we're going to browse. We're going to do car 2. And don't click OK. Click on the plus sign, browse, and do car 3. And click on the plus sign, browse, and do car 4. Now we're done. So let's go and see what this actually did. Did two things. Number one, you have the body on loan, and it's calling preload images. Then it's giving you all of the images to load. Then you notice that up top here, it created a script type of JavaScript, the function that we called down over here, and then all this nonsense over here, which you don't have to worry about what it means, but basically it's telling the browser preload the images. And that's all we're going to do for right now. I'll pick up on page 304 in our next video. Have a great day.